Mr. Lorry then learnt that there were times when the good doctor sank into a deep thought, deep inner world. At these times, he would sit at his bench for hours, sometimes the days, working away all his shoes. During these times, it was almost impossible to talk to him. Now, Miss Pross told Lorry about the condition of Dr. Manette, and what she told that doctor sometimes goes into the deep thought, into his inner own world, and at that time he sat by the side of his bench making shoes for hours, and during these times it was almost impossible to talk to him. Soon Lucy and Dr. Manette arrived back from their walk, and they all sat down to dinner. Dr. Manette was looking well, and Lucy was as beautiful as ever, her cheeks quite pink and her golden hair glistening. After this, Lucy and Dr. Manette, they came back from their walk, and then they all sat together for the dinner. Dr. Manette, at that time, he was looking quite well, and Lucy, as ever, she was beautiful. Her in the previous chapter we have done, she has the quite pink cheeks and golden blonde hair here. After dinner, Mr. Darnay arrived and joined the company under the plane tree in the garden. They began talking about the sights they had seen in the London. Charles mentioned the Tower of London, where letters of alphabets had been discovered carved on a wall of one of the cells. While Charles was telling his story, Dr. Manette suddenly went very pale. So it means when Dr. Manette suddenly went very pale, it means he just reminded something related to the Tower of London here, and it was talked about by Mr. Charles here, who joined their company after the dinner. My father, you are ill. And when Lucy Manette, she saw the condition of her father, she confirmed from her father, no, my dear, not ill. There are large drops of rain falling and I'm rather startled. We had better get in. Dr. Manette for that responded he was quite well and showed the large drops of rain falling, and then told her to get inside. The doctor recovered almost instantly. Rain really was falling in large drops, and he showed the back of his hand with raindrops on it, but he did not say a word about the discovery in the Tower of London. Mr. Lorry, however, had his doubt. And now when Lucy told about the sickness of the father suddenly recovered from there, and at that time Mr. Lorry, he became quite doubtful that why he became pale at the thought of Tower of London here. Just as Miss Pross was about to serve tea, Sydney Carton arrived and sat down with the rest near the window. Despite the heavy rain, the night was hot and steamy here. So when they all were busy in the talk, Sydney Carton also arrived here and sat with the rest near the window. The raindrops are still falling, large, heavy and few. It comes slowly, noted Dr. Manette there. It comes surely, said Carton. Okay, now there was a conversation between Carton and Dr. Manette. There was a great hurry in the street. People were speeding away to find shelter before the storm broke. The room was full of the echoes of footsteps coming and going, and yet not a footstep was there. And then suddenly they all listened. The people, they were going hurriedly to find shelter before the storm, and the room was also full of the echoes. Echoes means the voices, the noises of the footsteps coming and going, and yet not a footstep was there. Isn't it strange, said Lucy. I have sometimes sat here alone in the evening listening, and until I have imagined these echoes to be the echoes of all the footsteps that are coming into our life here. All these footsteps destined to come to us, Miss Manette, or are we to divide them among us? So here they were talking about their previous event, what happened in their life, how they suffered about that. I don't know, Mr. Darnay. It's not a foolish idea. Then I'll take them into my life, Miss Manette, added Carton. A great crowd is bearing upon us. I see them and I hear them. Here they come, fast, fierce and furious. The rain rushed and roared. Actually, these things they are comparing with the rain, how the rain drops they were falling. Okay, the same like they what they have faced in their previous life, it was discussed there. The rain rushed and roared with these words, so he stopped. Flashes of lightning and crashes of thunder swept away all words along with all the echoes of the footsteps. So thunder means the rain, it was started raining very heavily there, and they compared it with the echoes of the footstep here. Now the story moves to the other side. Simultaneously, two incidents they are being described here. At about the same time when this incident was going on, the same time in France, Monsieur Le Marquis was in his carriage heading to his chateau. Chateau means castle or country home. So at the same time, Monsieur, as I already told you, he was uncle of Charles Darnay. He was in his carriage and he was going towards his country home. Driver whipped the horses mercilessly and soon the carriage was racing through the narrow street. See here, the driver was also merciless, not showing any mercy over the horses, same like his master. Men, women and children leapt out of the way, barely escaping the crushes of the wheel. The panic and distress of the pedestrian did not affect the Marquis or did not change his cold expression. So here the pitiless nature of Monsieur Le Marquis, it is being discussed here, how merciless he is, same like his driver. And the people, they were running here and there to keep themselves away from the crushes of the wheels there. And the people, when they were crying with the pain, they were in distress. That did not change the mind of Monsieur Le Marquis here. He was as cold as a fish. He was behaving, not showing any kind of feeling for the people here. As the carriage rumbled furiously on its way, one of its wheels ran over something that felt like sack of potatoes, throwing the Marquis out of his seat. A wild cry arose from the people on the street and carriage stopped. The Marquis looked angrily out of the carriage window. As you know, he was hurriedly moving towards his house. So suddenly a child came under the wheel of his carriage, and means as the carriage it was moving with the means how the this driver, he was taking it very furiously, very angrily he was moving, and suddenly a child came under the wheel of his carriage and he was crushed like the sack of potatoes. A wild cry rose from the people on the street and carriage stopped. And when the people, they saw this, they started crying there. And with the cry of the people, the carriage stopped there, and Marquis, he looked angrily out of the carriage window. What on the earth is wrong? Why you have stopped here? A tall man in the nightcap had taken up the bundle from behind the carriage and was laying it out near a fountain. So where the people, they were crying, so the tall man in the nightcap, he took up the bundle from behind the carriage and he laid that bundle over the child there. Pardon, Monsieur Le Marquis, said the ragged bystander, it's a child. So what he told, a child came under your wheel. The tall man was crying and howling over the body of the child. The tall man, whose child it was, he was crying bitterly over the loss of the child here, because the child was dead at that time.